guys, Dr. Andy here. Today I want to talk about the most common question that we get asked in the office, and that is, why do I have back pain? Now, the answer is far too common, or rather, there's way too many reasons to get into why your back can hurt, right? From disc problems to neurological issues. So there's way too many reasons to, in a short video like today, go over every single reason why you may have back pain. But I would like to cover the two most common that probably represent at least 95 to 98% of the reasons why someone may come in with back pain, okay? So back pain is a pretty broad actual topic or subject, because anyone that considers anything from the low back all the way up to the base of the neck, this whole region, a lot of people call that back pain, right? So me, a chiropractor, I'm gonna kind of actually start to pigeonhole it. Is it low back pain? Is it upper back pain? You know, is it coming from ribs? Is it muscle or joint? It can get pretty kind of complicated, but for most people are just thinking, and they're typing into Google, like, I have back pain and why do I have it, right? Let's just cover the top two most common, okay? The first one, let's talk about a traumatic injury. So this is probably the second most common. We'll get into the most common reason in just a second. Maybe 10 to 20% of my patients, they are coming in with low back pain or mid back pain, and they are experiencing it as a result of a traumatic injury. So macro trauma, think for example a car accident, right? Or maybe a bad slip or fall down the stairs, maybe you took a tumble off the curb. You have unfortunately gone through something, a physical trauma, okay? Most of the time it's like a slip or a fall or a car accident in this office. When that happens, the actual impact, the actual trauma itself damages the tissue, okay? And so this tissue, what we're talking about, we are talking about the muscles in your back, we're talking about the ligaments, the tendons, maybe even the joints and the joint capsule themselves, okay? So with a traumatic-based injury for the back and what causes back pain, it is most likely caused by actually damaged tissue. Maybe the tissue has some micro tears in there. They've actually physically ripped a little bit. Most of the time it's the tissue has been stretched too far, so there's some actual tearing of the tissue, okay? When that happens, we start the injury cascade and the healing cascade, and what comes with that is like a lot of inflammation, so there's going to be swelling in that area, there's redness, and there is a lot of hormones and proteins and chemicals that your body produces after a trauma that can cause some pain, all right? Most of the time, if you've had a traumatic injury, that is where your pain is coming from. The most important thing for us to do at that time is just to kind of help you heal faster and make sure that as you're healing, everything is moving correctly and it's healing in the right direction, so the problem doesn't become bigger later on in what we call like a protective pattern. Like if you sprain your ankle, you may start to, limp a little bit. Well, that limp is a protective pattern. It does help you in the here and now, but it can cause bigger problems later on. So if you have a traumatic-based injury, my job is to help you heal faster, but also at the same time to make sure that you don't develop any kind of pattern or protective pattern that can cause you bigger problems later on. That's about 10 to 20% of my patients, but the far more often reason that we see back pain patients in my office is what we call a repetitive-based injury or repetitive stress injury. A repetitive stress injury could be bad ergonomics from work. Think of the desk worker that's constantly sitting at their desk all day long typing, maybe picking up the phone. Well, that bad posture constantly from work stresses the heck out of the muscles and joints of the upper back and the neck, so you may develop some pain from that. You're not going to be hurting in the first day that you're at work, but do it long enough and you start to develop some pain, right? So repetitive stress injury, usually from work ergonomics, is a big one. That kind of includes bad posture. A lot of times maybe it's from a total lack of exercise. Maybe you have a sedentary lifestyle, like, at work and at home, you're not moving and using your body enough. That causes everything to get too tight and too stiff and cause some pain. So sometimes it's not enough movement, and then the other times maybe it's overtraining. Maybe you're going to the gym too much and you are not giving your body enough time to rest and recover. That causes the body to wear down and to develop some repetitive stress pain from that. or maybe you're working out the right amount, but maybe you have bad lifting habits. Maybe you're doing your squat wrong, maybe you're doing your hip hinge wrong, and that will over time stress the body little by little as a repetitive stress, and then become a bigger and badder issue essentially, all right? The way you sleep, the way you drive, the way you hold yourself, stress, these are all repetitive stress injuries that we see all day long in the office, okay? So if your back is hurting, the lower back, the mid back, and you're thinking to yourself like, well, why am I in pain? If you had a car accident a week ago, well, unfortunately you are in a traumatic pain type category, and that means you have damaged tissue and it needs to heal, right? There are things that we can do to help it heal a little bit faster and make sure that we're healing properly, right? But if you're looking back over the last couple of weeks and you're going like, well, I don't have any falls, I didn't have a car accident, well then more than likely you are in the category of what we call an overuse or repetitive stress injury. And the good news in this category is that you don't have any damaged tissue. Nothing is damaged. We just have to help things move properly again so that the body is able to get enough blood flow to that area where it's hurting, okay? So hopefully that kind of sheds a little bit of light on the two most common reasons that we see our patients with back pain. If you have any questions, if this sounds like you, if it doesn't sound like you, reach out, ask me any further questions. Always remember to live with passion and not pain.